The cornea is the transparent, dome-shaped outermost layer of the eye that acts as the primary refractive surface. It allows light to enter, responsible for approximately 65 to 75% or about two-thirds of the eye's total focusing power. Third one is we have the iris. The iris is the colored muscular ring that surrounds the black opening known as the pupil, which sits in the center of the eye. It regulates light entry by adjusting pupil size, constricting in bright light, and dilating in low light to optimize vision. Fourth one is we have the lenses. The lenses change their shape, a process called accommodation, to focus on objects at varying distances. It becomes thicker for near vision and thinner for distant vision. Fifth one is we have the retina. The retina is a layer at the back of the eyeball containing cells that are sensitive to light that trigger nerve impulses that passes via optic nerve to the brain, where visual image is formed. We also have the photoreceptors, which contain special cells, specialized light-sensitive neurons located in the retina that convert light or photons into electrical signals, enabling vision. We also have two parts for the retina. First is we have the rods, which help us see in low light. Second one is we have the cones, which help us see colors and details in bright light. We also have the signal conversion, which the rods and the cones convert light into electric signals. Sixth one is we have the optic nerve. The optic nerve, or also called as the cranial nerve tube, is a bundle of over 1 million nerve fibers that transmits visual information from the retina to the brain. Acting as a crucial sensory pathway, it leaves the eye, passes through the optic canal, and reaches the optic chiasm, ultimately connecting to the brain's vision centers. Last one for the eyes is we have the extraocular muscles. These muscles are attached to the sclera. We also have the movement control, which they allow us to move our eyes up, down, left, right. We also have the ciliary muscles, which changes line shape, which it also help us to focus on where we're looking at something. We also have the voluntary skeletal muscles in the orbit responsible for precise eye movements, recti and oblique muscles, and upper eyelid elevation, which levator palpebrae superioris.
And now we will talk about another specialized organ, which is the ear. The ear is a sensory organ that detects the sound, vibration, and head movements. It receives sound and changes it into nerve signals that are sent to the brain, allowing us to hear. Now we will talk about the parts of the ear and their function. The first one is auricle, which is also the outer ear. It collects sound waves from the environment and directs the sounds into the ear canal. Ear canal is it channels sound waves toward the eardrum, which is the tympanic membrane. The sound waves cause the eardrum to vibrate. Third part is the auditory ossicle, which is the middle ear. These are three tiny bones, which is the malleus, incus, and stapes, and their function is amplify the vibration from the eardrum and sends the vibration to the inner ear. The another part is the oval window. Window is a small membrane-covered opening between the middle ear and inner ear. The stapes push on it, and it sends vibration into the cochlea. The cochlea is the inner ear. It has two roles, which is it also helps in the motor-related role, but the first one is the sensory role. It is a spiral-shaped structure that changes vibration into nerve signals and sends signals to the brain so we can hear. Its motor-related role, it works with the vestibular system to help to maintain balance. Another part is the hair cells or auditory nerve. Hair cell, its sensory role is tiny. It is a tiny sensory cell inside the cochlea, and it also have like hair-like structure. And when vibration reach them, they create electrical signals, and it travels to the brain so we can hear. Then, auditory nerve carries the electrical signal from the cochlea to the brain, allowing us to hear. Its motor-related role it both helps to maintain balance and posture. It is the same as the cochlea.
So the next one is the skin. There are three main tissue layers of the skin. The first one is the outer epidermis. So the outer epidermis actually protects our skin to our inside body, to the outside world, to our environment. So it is located on the outermost part of our skin, of our body. And the next one is the middle dermis. So the middle dermis is located in between the epidermis and the hypodermis, and it also helps us for sensing. And the last one is the inner hypodermis. So it actually protects our internal organ in for the outside world, or to our environment. So it also acts as a cushion. So touch receptors. As we have mentioned earlier, touch receptors detect stimuli such as vibrations, texture, and sound. Human skin acts as the body's largest sensory organ. There are special receptors of it, such as mechanoreceptors, thermoreceptors, and nociceptors, and it in the dermis and epidermis. So there are examples of touch receptors. So the first one is the Merkel cells. So Merkel cells detect sustained light, touch, and texture. So Merkel cells actually, it helps for example blind people. It helps blind people to detect sharp edges and sharp shapes. For example, the braille, the braille language. Blind people actually feel those they have those patterns in braille. So in that patterns, they can actually read when it is typed in a book or in the braille. So because of those receptors, because of Merkel cells, they can actually read braille. And yeah. And the next is the Meissner's corpuscles. So Meissner's corpuscles detect light touch and low frequency vibration. So they detect light touch. Like for example, when a feather is brushed against your skin, so you can actually feel the feather, because it is only light. And yeah, that is the Meissner's corpuscles rule. And the next is the Pacinian corpuscles. So the Pacinian corpuscles actually detects deep pressure and high frequency vibration. Like for example, when you're sleeping, when your phone vibrates, you can actually feel it because of the Pacinian corpuscles. And the last one is the Ruffini endings. And Ruffini endings is it detects skin stretch. The best example for this is when you grip a basketball ball. You actually stretch your hands like this, and then you grip it like that. And yeah, that serves as the Ruffini ending. It's also for fingers positioning. And next is how touch works in skin. So stimulus. So when something touches the skin, it stimulates these receptors. So in stimulus such as vibration, texture, and temperature, it actually the one that helps the receptors detect, so that they can send the signals to the brain. And the receptors send signals to the nerves to the brain. So those signals are turns into electrical signals that travels to the nervous system up to the brain. So the brain interpretation, it interprets what the signal was. So for example, you felt something touched you, so your brain will interpret that, oh my god, I felt it, that someone or something touched me. So that's how the brain interpretation works. So the next one is the nose, that will be presented by Kane Topic.